I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, and welcome into Pregaming here at Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Lots of fun. We had a big dual live stream last night. Little Sunday night, last minute notice football. We had the 7-hour extravaganza on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys made a lot of money with us this weekend. And we got a new week. We got new money to get after, and we got a new year right around the corner. So it's going to be a ton of fun to get after this card and see if we can't finish 2024 with a bang. And maybe, just maybe, we'll figure out why everything's so darn pink. Why is it so pink? I hope you guys, again, had a great weekend. Thank you guys for coming and checking us out tonight. We got a lot of great things in the pipeline. As you guys know and you heard, congratulations and welcome aboard to our newest Sports Money member, LFA champion or fighter. LFA fighter, I should say. He's going to be a champion. We know that. But Kevin Carrier joins the crew. We made that announcement on Saturday. Lots of big things coming in the 2025 purview. New programming. Working on some new programming just today, as a matter of fact. I think you guys are going to like the direction things are rolling. So let's keep it rolling. Let's have a successful finish of this year. And let's have a big start to 2025 here. We're going to have that opportunity this week. How do we finish? How do we start? We'll have several days out there to get 2025 under our belt for this week. So I always say it's a sprint and a marathon. Long term and short term, we got to get paid, but tricky little card today. Tricky little card, just a 3-slot NHL card. I found a spot that I really like in this card tonight. Kind of going to run it back here. I guess we haven't really played this angle yet, but we will play it nonetheless. We've got 2 college basketball games today. How about that? We're going to go to the Big 12 as they pop off divisional play, conference play with the Houston, Oklahoma State spot. Then we got a little Bethune-Cookman, Mississippi State spot in the Bethune-Cookman, Mississippi State game. We'll move to the NBA. We've got the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks. We've got a same-game parlay. Yeah, we're going to bring a same-game parlay back for Denver and Utah. We've got the Sixers and the Trailblazers. And we pop it off with some Monday night football. Going to be fun. Don't forget, we talked about this last night. Monday night live stream tonight. Yeah, we're going to do that. Everyone seemed like they wanted to get together, fill a gap that's out there, and figured we might as well do just that. So get ready, get set tonight. We're going to pop off, I believe, around 7:45 to start the big Monday night battle between the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk a little bit about that game. Just some slim action to start. There's a couple things that I wanted to wait on to try to see if we can't get this to the window. So certainly we'll have more. And boy, speaking of more, I think I found a nice new little angle that I'm going to leverage again. Hopefully we can leverage it again tonight on the live stream. Back-to-back plus 450 cashers. By the second half little nugget that has been successful. 2 for 2 so far. We did it on Saturday. See if we did it again last night. See if we can do it again tonight. So let's go. We got to hydrate so we can dehydrate. We got to rehydrate so we can dehydrate on a Monday night battle. So get ready, you guys. Appreciate everybody logging in here, checking us out. Please take the time, if you haven't done so now, smash that thumbs up button for us. That's how we grow. That's how YouTube knows that we're out here. That's how we promote the brand to new eyeballs, all by you guys taking that second. Close the comment, hit the thumbs up, then pop back in. It's a win-win. We bring in new eyeballs. They share their best bets. We all get the benefit from seeing more plays, more angles, more strategies in the marketplace. So take a second and do that for me right now, please. And let me shout out our guy, Redbeard, popping right off the top, gifting a Sports Money membership, helping us continue to promote the brand, growing the community. Our man, Redbeard, is one member at a time. We appreciate you, Redbeard. We will have plenty of shots to your honor this evening. I will raise my glass. Okay. Get ready, get set. It's going to be a busy week here. The program is so important. You got to know before you go and make plans on how we're going to attack it this week. So we've got the Monday night live stream tonight. You'll see my man Ramon Scott Monday to Sunday at 9 a.m. He'll be doing his thing every single day, as he does. We're going to have no Thursday night football this week. And since there's no UFC, there will be no First Strike. We will be alive on Saturday. There's 2 AFC games out there. The battle between, I think it was the Browns and the Ravens. That pops off at 4:30, so we'll start at 4. At 8 p.m., I believe, is the second game. They'll have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll be live for that one as well. So you got the live shows on Saturday. We'll see what Sunday brings. It's kind of a wonky schedule when it comes to Sunday, but what a battle Sunday night's going to be. They got the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions squaring off. So that'll be cool. We'll figure something out for that as well. But that's the schedule here. With the holiday underway, it's important everybody take some time to have some fun, debrief, relax. You know, I will say too, and I've said this in the past, but this is a time of year. Mental health can certainly be triggered. And if you find yourself gripping the bat just a little too tight, loosen up. Take a day away. Maybe 2. Maybe talk to somebody. Get your feelings out there. Coming in the chat and trolling is not the spot to do it. So please be mindful of that and get the help that you appropriately need. Especially this time of year, we can all get those triggers with family, friends, previous memories, and everything else that goes into it. So me, myself, believe my mental fortitude is in place, but you never know. You never know. Those that are out there that need to hear that, please hear it. Stop trolling. Time to get to work. We start off, we'll just do a quick recap. Look, we had a nice little stretch going, but we couldn't close out Friday with a win. We did win that Vanderbilt +3 spot out there against Georgia Tech. Let's see. We lost the Sabres under 6.5. We lost the Orlando Magic +7.5. That was a late ad. Got me again. Them late ads. Thought we had this little thing figured out with the Boston Celtics first quarter under. We did not. And the Nashville Predators did me dirty. St. Louis Blues. Really? You're going to lose 7-4 in St. Louis? But, you know, we did talk about that kind of being the Christmas transition process, right? This holiday, New Year's, this stretch isn't just difficult for us and our family and friends. These guys are professionals that are trying to go out there and compete on a daily basis. Now, the Syracuse and over game was a smash and dash right there. We crushed that thing and then some. That thing was over. I think it was over in the first quarter with our teaser at 52.5. We did cash the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are just a buzzsaw right now. They're just beating everybody up. 149-135 against the Denver Nuggets. The Utah Jazz let us down. Colorado. And because they let us down, the parlay with the under did not cash. The under did cash, but the parlay with the under did not cash. Speaking of unders that cash, the Golden State Warriors under did cash. And USC comes back at the end there to give us a +3.5 easy casher to finish off our Friday night action. So all in all, down about 1.8 units. Not great, but you know, we had a good start to the week, so we could afford to. Not that you want to, but it doesn't kill us. All right, let's pop off today. Let's get to work. You guys know the deal. Grab that pen and paper. Going to want to write down these trends, these angles. these plays, these future circle spots, birthday notes, everything else that goes into it, because the best of the business come here to share their hard work. We've been marinating on the card all day. It's time to get to work. Make sure you put your best bets in the chat so that we can talk about it. And our guy, number one commenter, Joe T. Good luck today. No best bet for Joe T today. No best bet. Rich J's in the house. Says no Luka or Kyrie. Kings are going to roast the Mavericks. I'm on first half minus 3.5. Likes the Sabonis over 3.5. I'm sorry, over a half at threes as well. Shout out to Keith each and every stride. He's going to be joining us tonight. He's ready to live stream. He says, what's up? I like John Jennings over 64.5 receiving yards. Says, let's have a night. Shout out to Joe W. Appreciate my man coming through here, gifting us 5 big sports money memberships over the weekend. And Nasty Nate says, hit the luck on your way in and win a sports money Escalade. I did not know that we had a sports money Escalade. Unless it's one of those little toys. Unless it's one of those holiday little toys. But this pink is bad though, isn't it? As soon as I went to this green screen. So bad. So bad. Shout out to Trisha M in the house. A person like to thank Sports Money for the late stream and make work winky extra hard today. Cheers, all. That game was a tough one. That was a toughie last night. And then they went and scored the touchdown. They didn't even need the touchdown. They got it. Crushed everyone's +4 tickets. Oh, that hurt. Shout out to Chrisella. Says, drill, baby, drill. Let's go. Joe W says, head rep, Sean Hockley in the Detroit-San Francisco game means unders. Let's go. Jay Stone. Cheers, my Red Bull Vodka brother. Let's go. Red Bull Vodkas will be flowing tonight for sure. Appreciate you, my dude. Nicholas Handy's here. Redbeard. Gifted a membership. He says, Mizzou live at +175. Cashed it. Let's go. I had Iowa +3. I had Iowa +3. I think it's over now, right? It's over. And why the 3? I just wanted to get back into the where I thought the movement came from, right? We talked about this the other day. Sometimes that line steams away and we go late. But what makes it great is we can see where it started and where it finished and where we think we need to be. So I bought up. Where did they finish? Did I get roasted? Did I get toasted? No. Oh. 3 points. Well, you know what? That money wasn't doing anything, just sitting there. We took a shot at it. Damn, that stinks. They were winning most of that game, too. Disappointment. Disappointment. Okay. Where did we leave off? Let's go. Jake Peasy's in the house. Trisha M says, I got under 50 tonight. Figure both teams got a score. And San Francisco struggle bus. Robert McCormick's rocking with us. Oldies here. Jay Main's in the house. Let's go. Justin McCalvey giving us the pop-off. Says sports money is money. Joseph Myers says sometimes you got to take a step back and pause. If it's not fun, then it's time to reevaluate why you're doing it. Well said. Well said, Joseph Myers. There's some people out there that need to hear that message. They know who they are. They're listening. They're creating another fucking burner account. Thomas Maggio says, hey, brother, I got Detroit -3.5 and Utah Hockey Club -140. Money line. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Thomas, I like those spots there, my friend. Old E likes the Lions first half -0.5 on my ticket. Drank the juice. Sometimes we got to drink the juice. Jay Stone. Sometimes it feels like that, you know? Sometimes it feels like that. I can't give my play of the day because when I do, it loses. I will say that Brock Purdy and Kittle are looking for contract extensions. Shout out to Barry, rocking with us. Daddy Beats is in the house. Says he's here. Hit the like. Sancho giving us these plays out there. Washington State, Sacramento Kings. Moneyline parlay. Lions, Niners under 50. Clippers, first quarter, +198. And the Cincinnati moneyline, Lions moneyline, +130. Huh. Let's go. Shout out to Elliot Jameson says, hey, Mike, enjoy the show. Especially Ramon. We all enjoy Ramon so much. He's a great man. He sure is. He sure is. Happy to get to know Ramon and consider him one of my friends. Love talking to Ramon. Get passionate about it. We both align on some of the direction we see things going, and it made a lot of sense to get him here on Team Sports Money. Now it starts off everybody's day with the morning steam, and that's how it should be. Driving into work, you should be able to tune into Ramon Scott and hear some morning steam and forget those little circus act nonsense bubblegummer programming that you hear in the car on the way into work. All right. Does it really matter what, I better not say it. I better not say it. How about that? Go time. It is go time. So let's go and get into this action here. We're going to pop it off. Just one game in the NHL. I'll tell you, I found the card tricky. I found the card super tricky. Specifically because, first of all, it's only 3 games. And, for all fairness, the Utah Yeti and the Seattle Kraken, I just don't have any use for that. I mean, how do you not take Utah when you got Philip Grubauer, unconfirmed, but should be the guy that goes at 4-10 on the season? And Carl Vejmelka will start on the Utah Yeti side of things. He's been playing well. 3 or fewer goals in 8 of his last 9. And how do you win games? Your goalie keeps the puck out of the net. 5-3-1 and a 92% save percentage. Seattle Kraken was on a 5-game losing streak prior to that, but did snap it this past game. And now coming in, it's kind of like that Buffalo Sabres syndrome. They had that monstrous losing streak going on. I just didn't want to get involved in it. I would lean to that Utah side. And the Rangers and the Panthers, Shesterkin and Bobrovsky. And the Rangers are getting outscored like crazy. 14-3 in their last 3 games. You're certainly not going to win a lot of games in that spot, and they've won 0. On the other side of things, the Panthers have been outscored 8-0 in their last 2 games. It's a lot of volatility in both those squads out there. Florida, Montreal comes down to Florida and takes out both teams, dusts them both. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to let those guys continue to stabilize a little bit. But the game I want to get involved with is the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. Bottom line, when we look at this one here, is it's a goaltending battle. It's a potential playoff battle. It could be a West Conference Stanley Cup Finals battle. Probably said that wrong. Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals battle. There you go. That's the way. Stop it, reverse it, got it. And we got this Predators team that opens up as a road dog at plus 130. They have moved. There has been some movement. They're down to plus 110. And that is reverse line movement because you have 86% of the bets and 94% of the cash pounding on the Winnipeg Jets. Normally, we don't talk about this cash flow type of stuff when it comes to hockey because of the betting market, but there's a lot of sample on this one. 12,000 tickets have been issued in the sample, and 94% of the cash like the Winnipeg Jets. So what do the books do? They said, we'll see your Winnipeg Jets money, and we'll take it at minus 150. And if you liked it at minus 150, you got to love it at minus 120. I think it could be a trap. I think it's Nashville or bust. And then I look at the total, and look at this total. 87% of the cash, 89% of the cash on the over. 87% of the bets, 89% of the cash on the over. What's the total done? It's gone down from 6.5 to 6. Even seeing some 5.5s out there. And we've got Saros that's starting for the Predators. Look, started out like shit on the season. Oh, Nashville did. They were all trying to figure out who's on first and what's on second. They had those new pieces. Marshman, Stamkos coming in. Just a week and a half ago, I talked to you guys about it, and I said this might be a team that's a potential to go to the Stanley Cup Finals and get those Nashville Predators future tickets out there. Yeah, it's too easy to say Dallas and Colorado and Winnipeg, and of course, but you're not going to get the maximum bang for your buck. Why are you taking a future bet at 3-1? You know what? If you're let's say you're a $100 future better. It's the $100. Just try to keep everything simple. If you're taking a future at plus 330, you lost money. I don't care if the bet wins. I don't care. Why? I give you 3 bets today. You put $100, you take the 100, you roll it over in 2 bets. You just made as much money as you would have made at a plus 300 future. That's why we don't future out the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. But you find a spot with a team that might be starting to show some signs, then maybe you can consider it. If it's a 15-1 or higher, I would say that's probably a spot where I would start to consider it. Much like our Josh Allen future ticket, 14-1, before the whole world realized Josh Allen's on fire. But that's what happens when you're engaged in this stuff. When you do this on the regular. And so I think this Nashville Predators team, and my point around all of that is this team is starting to gel. They're starting to get back together. And they are coming off a loss. So that's one of those spots where, you can potentially be buying low. But, the Sharps look like, everybody's just pounding on the Jets. And why not? They're 4-1 in their last 5. They just fired down Ottawa 4-2. Now, that Ottawa spot was interesting. And this is a team we want to watch over the next couple of days because they do have a 9-game road trip. Now, we talked about that 9-game road trip. Day 1, when everybody said they're starting that road trip, there's some real bozos out there that position themselves as hockey cappers because they didn't factor in Christmas. And so we kept riding them right through that winning streak, right on through about the game before Christmas. Then we stopped. We let them feel burn and tear of being on the road for that long. But they get back on the road now. They lose to that Winnipeg Jets team December 28th. Interesting. Now the fatigue of that road trip is going to become a factor, especially after that little jaunt for Christmas. I can't explain the Predators' loss other than the fact that it was the day after. It was the first game back after the holidays. Only way I can position it. But the spot I want to take advantage of here is this goaltending situation. I think we got 2 lower scoring squads here. We've seen that Nashville can find some pay dirt. They play a Carolina team at home. They win 5-2. But they had a 2-0 win in there. They had a 3-2 win in there, a 2-1 spot in there. Certainly can find it difficult to score. Same thing can be said for Winnipeg. Winnipeg tends to be more of an under team in my estimation than an over team. When it comes to the Predators in the dog roll, they are 5-10 to the under. 10 unders, 5 overs, 15 plays. I don't know. Is that 10-5 to the under? Or is that 5-10 to the under? I don't know. But I know it's 5-13 to the under when they're on the road. I know when we see Winnipeg at home, they're 6-9 to the under as well. Under, divisional battle. Should be a playoff matchup. The Predators are 13-22-1 on the overall to the under. As are the Jets, 15-19-3 to the under. It's good enough for me. I'll take the under 6. To find all my action, logged at BetStamp. Under Mikey Money. But our first play is going to pop off. I didn't put the banners up here because I was running late, so I'll do this right now. Just feels like it does. We're not complete until we get there. But if you're going to rewind and watch back, you can line up the yellow spot with the black spot, and there you go. You got the play. Away we go. Pop this card off like that. What do you guys think about that spot? Anybody got anything else? Anybody sway me one way or the other on some of these other games? JW says, never mind, 94% of the money on those Winnipeg Jets. I'm on the Sabres to win. Yeah, 94% is never a spot you want to be involved with. Tomorrow's a very big college football day. It sure is. It sure is. I guess I should be happy that I pushed with the +3. Kind of just a little pissed. Just a little pissed that what are you going to do? Like I said, that money wasn't doing me any good anyways. Just sitting there. Should have had to win. I didn't watch the end of the game either, so. Yeah. Smoke and mirrors! I heard a nasty rumor today that the Hammercock Pop was making a return for 2025. Man, it seems like so long ago, doesn't it? Seems like so long ago. Kevin Wood! What's up, Ken? Winnipeg is 36-4. Its last 40 as a favorite at home versus divisional opponents. Wow. So I waded through all that minutia of this hockey slate to come up with one bet. One lousy NHL bet. I don't think it's a lousy bet. It's been one stinking bet. You know what I mean? Picking up what I'm putting down? Should have been more. Felt like there should have been more. There wasn't. It is what it is. Sometimes you can't push it. Sometimes you got to just ride it out, and that's what we get. We get a much more full slew. We get a bunch of great spots, man. We got the outdoor game. That's pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen it yet, Wrigley, that's going to be fun. Fired up for this. New Year's always great. You know, you got the World Cup junior tournament or the junior world championships going on. That's a lot of fun too. Lots of good stuff going on. All right, let's go to college basketball. Let's move in. Let's take off the ice skates. Let's lace up the high tops, and let's get to the hardwood to talk a little bit about Big 12 battle. Some late action here. You know, another tricky card for me as I was looking across. I mean, I just felt like that's kind of the moral of the story today across the board. But here's an interesting spot. You got Houston. You know, we've talked about Houston, and what I like to do, especially when they're at home, find weak prey, especially out of conference. And then take their team total unders in the first half because Houston does play a defensive-oriented game. They've gotten themselves to rank number 14 in the nation. Right now, the total, as we look at this thing open up with 12.5s, we have 89% of the bets, only 69% of the cash on Oak State. The total from 138.5 down to 138, down to 137.5 as well. So we do see some downward movement. That's kind of note because this total, has 54% of the bets and 56% of the cash on the over. So we do have a little bit of reverse line movement there, suggesting, well, to me, that makes sense. Houston's a lower, slower paced team. They play significant. They play hard in the paint, man. They limit those second chance opportunities for teams as well. I'm looking at this one, though, and I think this might just be a situation where you have too many points. I mean, both these teams come in at 12-8. I'm sorry, at 8-3. 12-8, jeez. It would be a real bad season for Houston if they're 12-8 at some point. But they're not home. And that's the big factor for me. And, when I look at it and I see, as far as Houston's concerned, at least from a scheduling perspective, I don't know. They didn't really play to anybody. And that's why we're able to capitalize. Now, they did play some games like Alabama, but they lost to Alabama, 85-80. Certainly isn't the Alabama of old. And we look at it, in San Diego State's, Notre Dame. I don't know. Just a team that finds their spots, plays hard at home, and the consistency is those home games. Their first true road game was that 85-80 loss at Alabama. Keep that in mind. Now we got them rolling into Oak State. Big 12 home courts make a huge difference to me. This is their last game before the New Year's wraps up. So there's really the West Virginia road trip after the New Year's, but that's not till Saturday. So you're going to get everything Oak State's got to bring to the table, is my point. And when we look at this one, this is the sell high. Perfect scenario. Houston, 0-9-1 against the spread after they shot greater than 48.5% from the field. Shot effectively, get the job done. 17.5 against Butler. They end up winning that game by 28 points. Now the books are going to scramble and scurry because they're like, man, this team is shooting lights out. And I think that's why this 12.5's come down to 11.5 now, is because that initial strike price that the books put on that thing is too high. Simply put, too high. And Houston specifically, after they shoot incredibly well, keep in mind, at home as well, now rolling out on the road for another out of home court battle in conference, and they just came off a shooting lights out, overinflated line, opportunity to crush it. 12 points is the number I got on that thing, and I'm still good with 11.5. But I'm going to take the Oak State side of things here, and I'm gonna need Houston to show me that they are that team, and I'm going to pay the price to find out, because at the end of the day, I don't think that they're going to be able to get this thing by more than, even if they win by 10, we still cover. And 10 to me seems like that's an egregious amount of number to put up there on the road in your first conference game. Give me Oak State. I don't think Oak State wins outright in this case. I mean, they're 12 points for a reason. But I'm good with them. I'll take that thing. I'll ride that journey. I'll ride that pony. Let's go. Chris Sella's got him plus 12. Irish Kinks is not going to lie. Horrible card. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yes. It's a difficult card. Chiefs Kingdom. Did you see today that the team that bettors made the most money on? Bettors made the most money on Kansas City. Single player bettors lost the most money on Travis Kelce. I found that kind of interesting. They won the most money with Kansas City, but they lost the most money with Travis Kelce. Daddy Beats got the Lions first half. Juggler 23 dropping some system plays out there. 67% trend systems on both NBA and college hoops tonight. Cavs, Warriors under 231 plus. Gonzaga, Pepperdine under 159.5. Irishman says, where was the plays first half hour? You're going through the Jets plays. Talking about the Jets plays. Nasty Nate likes Goff over 1.5 touchdowns. Robert McCormick's given a nod to our guy Ramon Scott. Says great call on the Chelsea Ipswich. I gotta believe the W's a V in that scenario, don't you? It's a little tricky one. Made in Philly. Can't wait to make all that money on Kansas Eagles Super Bowl. I wonder what was that price? It's not a bad price. Or it's not a bad look. I'll tell you what. Cheshire Cat. This is Aaron Rodgers. Not so happy. Man, when I told you guys before, see, I don't have the sports almanac. I just watch a lot of sports. Behaviors. And Aaron, he's been caught lying, and you can tell by his character that he just kind of mumbles and bumbles. And then his option is to yell at people. When they miss a pass, it's not him that threw it bad. It's them that either weren't in the right spot or didn't catch it properly. But it's that fucking look on his face when he's losing and his willingness to just sit back and get beaten that bothers me the most. There's no fight in this dude. I don't know if there ever has been. He got drafted and he was just comfortable sitting on the bench for 3 years behind Brett Favre. I don't care who the fuck it is you're sitting on the bench behind. You're just comfortable sitting there for 3 years, just letting your clock tick, tick, tick away. It's an issue. And this guy benched himself in the fourth quarter. Now, I know that, look, dude, you're out of the game because you didn't score any points. It's that simple. That's why Aaron Rodgers is on the shit list. Don't get me started on Aaron Rodgers. Game number 2 we'll jump into here real quick for you guys. We'll keep this thing rolling. We got this big afternoon stream here, evening stream to pop into. Game number 2, I'm going to jump in on here. I'm looking at Bethune-Cookman and number 17, Mississippi State. Look at Mississippi State banging everybody here at 11-1 on the season. Bethune-Cookman, the old paycheck game. Take a paycheck to get the shit kicked out of you here because it's a little bit later, too. A little bit of a late night, not quite a late night special for us, but it's in the realm of late nights. This thing pops off at 9 p.m. 84% of the bets, 80% of the cash took Bethune-Cookman at 28.5. It has moved to 28. The total's gone down from 146.5 to 146, now down 145.5. 61% of the bets, 61% of the cash are on Mississippi State's under. And I think that makes a lot of sense. When you look at these two teams here, overall, the history between, there are 500 teams to the total. Bottom line. 6-6 overall. 6-6 overall. Mississippi State's 5-5 at home. Bethune-Cookman's 5-5 on the road. Bethune-Cookman is just in that let everybody beat the shit out of us, bust us up process. Back-to-back unders. 3 of their last 4 games have gone under. Why are they going under? Because they're struggling to score. 62 points, 41 points, 61 points, 63 points in some losses out there. They did have a win, an isolated win I took out of the equation with South Florida. They busted them up 77-69. That's the oddball because it was a 11.5 point dog. But South Florida ain't no Mississippi State. The way Mississippi State plays defense, similar to that kind of Houston look that we were talking about just a few minutes ago with tempo and pace, but These guys are big, and they will box this Bethune-Cookman team out. They're on a winning streak as hell. They've gone 4-1 to the under in their last 5. So when we had the non-conference tournaments early in the season, that's where Mississippi State was checking in for their overs. They were playing mismatched teams, cooking the books on those totals, and that's why they're at a 5-5. So you got to kind of peel it back and look and see what's really going on out there now. And they go under because, well, they're busting teams up. Again, 4 of the last 5, 79-66. That was a Memphis team. That was at Memphis. They went out there and embarrassed them. They were 2-point favorites. They cooked them. They play a Central Michigan team. They hold them down to 59 points. They play a McNeese, and they held them down to 63 points. Prairie View. I think the situation with Prairie View was an anomaly. They were laying 38.5. They only won by 7. Kind of a head scratcher. 91-84. They shut Pitt down. The almighty Pitt. 90-57. It's this defense, and it's the size that gets to these teams. Furthermore, when you've got a total less than 153.5, after a win and 15 or more turnovers, the under's 10-0. It's a perfect 10-0. That is Mississippi State. 15 plus turnovers talks about their ability to box teams out, get the bully ball in play. They just won, and they're coming off now. They got a total that's less than 153.5. Perfect 10-0 spot. We'll take that under. We will ride this under. We will watch this team abuse this other team. They'll probably get tired of beating the shit out of them, and at some point, we'll see that backdoor potentially open back up. But 146.5, Mississippi State, perfect 10-0 trend to the under. All right, that's right. Take this 10-0, Mississippi State, Miss State. Whoops. Put it in here just so I can easily pop them up the next day. Makes it a lot easier than having a reference back and forth. Everybody likes a little visual on the screen. All right, let's move to the NBA. I screwed up the order in the NBA on these things. Again, lots happening. Lots happening in the world of sports money. So crazy clipping day here. But I did want to jump in. I've got 3 spots here for you guys. A side, a total, and a same game parlay. And I'm really excited about the same game parlay here. I think it's around a plus 450 spot. A 450 spot that we're going to pop off. But the first game we've got on the card here is the Dallas Mavericks. Are the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. Honestly, if I was going to give you guys just some ripped on the board here, actually, that's not true. That's not true. You guys know what I have for my first play. You guys know what it is before we even get to it. Come on. Come on. Somebody tell me you know the deal here. And it was at the minus 130 range. Yeah. We're taking boost, baby. He's back in play. You know, is it easy just to... I mean, look. It's minus 130. It's not like we're beating this dude up at minus 180s and 190s. Might start to have to look at parlay. But it all makes sense. He averages 32 minutes a game in that Chicago, overall 32 minutes a game. Excuse me, I lost my train of thought there. 3 of 7 threes in the most recent game. His 3-point percentage is 45.5%. Remember, we talked about that being better than Steph Curry's career. Now, obviously, Steph Curry's career is just a benchmark to say we think of Steph Curry as the most prolific 3-point shooter in the NBA. And Luce has been performing better. Then we see the Bulls averaging 118 points a game. All these things talk to you guys. The top 4 offense in the Eastern Conference battling right now. We know that the West is aggressive and stacked. We know that there's going to be some opportunities. We'll see the Celtics will, I'm sure, get there in the end with the Eastern Conference here, but it's important. Right now, we see this Bulls team is battling in 9th place. They got a 14-18 record. You got a guy that's getting the minutes, attempting the shots, and a team that needs to win the game. That's why we take Vucevic, and we'll continue to do it until he starts swelling up to 150s and 160s, and then we'll find another way to do it. But this is still a standalone free play. Again, I think it is just that, we're going to take some lumps along the way, but this dude just continues to excel at that 3-point game. The spot that I'm looking at are these Dallas Mavericks, as I mentioned. So this will be the first official side or total. And we've got a line that opened up at plus 3.5, and it's running away from them. It's gone from 3.5 to 7s, with 73% of the bets and 66% of the cash on the Mavericks, yet it's gone 3.5 points in the opposite direction. Why, oh why might that be? Well, it's got to be player related, and it's Kyrie Irving. It's Luka, out and out. You guys talked about that in the chat. So we can dismiss that reverse line movement because we understand why it's there. Not that we're going to dismiss the fact that those guys aren't there, but we can justify why that line has moved the way it has. If you don't see those types of factors, that's the red flag because you've got reverse line movement and no reason for it. Then we look at the total, and it's gone from 227.5 down to 225.5, even 225s. With 83% of the bets and 80% of the cash on the over, it's going down. And again, we know why. You're bringing out some key guns. Shout out to Aaron Fox. Had him in that first quarter the other night to get over his points. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that again here. I'll keep it short and sweet for you guys, though. I mean, look, we got a whole bunch of things associated with this side. Most importantly, we're intersecting zero. We're not only intersecting zero, we've got a 341 in one side as well. How about that? Dallas. Conference games totals less than 235 after they get 49 or more points in the paint and had 6 or more transition points. 10-0 to the under. Why? Well, it's a lot of points in the paint. They're allowed to beat their team up, beat the other squad up, and if they're not coming out there showing a big number, then they're expecting a lower scoring game. That has nothing to do with Luka or Kyrie being in or out of that thing. 49 plus points in the paint, 6 plus transition points. They went out there and slapped them boys around. The intersecting zero spot is the Kings. When they're not favored by more than 11.5 points, and they shot greater than 49%, they're in a 12-0 spot to the under as well. So we got the under intersecting zero. We know that Luka's not in. We know that Kyrie's not in. We got the potential sell high spot on both these squads to the over because of their effectiveness, their ability to play bully ball, put points in from the paint, and shoot the lights out of the building. Sacramento Kings shooting more than 49% that previous game. Last but not least, here was the kind of icing on the cake. After a loss is a road favorite that shot more than 50.5% from the field. When the total's under 226, it's 34-1 to the under. After a loss, road favorite that shot the lights out from the field, 34-1 to the under in those spots. All the signs, all the boxes checked. This is an under. Its best number I think you can get right now for this Mavericks team is 225.5. Let me double check. No, there's some 226s out there. I would take it now. I wouldn't let it drop any further, but I did get the 226. And again, it's still out there at Bet Rivers. 225.5s are out there, but we're starting to see some 225s now. Caesars, who's slow to the draw on everything, is posting a 225 out there right now. So that thing continues to drop. You're not going to want to miss. This one's going to be tight. It's going to be squeaky, but I think we get in there with this low scoring spot. And I don't mind Dallas's team total under either. 109.5. I know that's a low number. Usually when Nashville is the low number, I'm sorry, Nashville. Just looking at this report for the Predators. Usually when Dallas is the low number, I think that's the spot to jump on this team going under. And that makes sense with their players being out that we see that situation. But the official play for me will be the full game under 226. What happened? Smoking mirrors. So what the fuck was that? Sports Money has ads now? We get some ads? That's what happens, man. YouTube wants to get in the game. Cheshire Cat says I took Patrick over 2.5 threes. Thomas Maggio. Juggler 23 says Etrish M. Thanks. Best of luck. Trisha M says happy 40th to LeBron. It's today's birthday. Silent Rob says minus 170 here. Yikes. Which one is that? For the VU spot? What else we got? What else is in the chat? What else is in the chat? You guys are something. Something. All right. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Don't want to miss anything. Let's go. Same game parlay time. Same game parlay time. Nuggets open up as 8-point road favorites, drop down to 7.5. I gotta be honest, this is a fuck the Utah Jazz and anybody that wears a jersey that represents the Utah Jazz. 81% of the bets and 77% of the cash on the Nuggets. It has come down a half a point. The total's gone up a point from 237.5 to 238.5. Little perplexing behind this thing here. I'm not bought into the way that we see Denver playing ball. Now, they did just come off a win. You know, they've had themselves, this will be their fourth game since Christmas. They played on Christmas. They lost to the Suns 110 to 100. Then they lose to Cleveland. Kind of a buzzsaw coming through there with that Cleveland spot that we talked about. We were on Cleveland. That was on Friday. They bounced back, though. Second day at home, bounce back opportunity. They beat up them Detroit Pistons, 134-121. The Jazz stink. To culminate the Jazz stinking, the stench of this Utah Jazz team, they even lost at home 114 to 111 to the Philadelphia 76ers, the lowly 76ers. Not a good look for the squad at all. The fact is we've got kind of a little rivalry between these two teams. And I think this is where the Nuggets come in and they start to take some things serious here. The Jazz are second to last in the Western Conference. They've only won 2 games at home all season. There's no home court advantage for the Utah Jazz at all. Not zero, which is surprising because there is an elevation factor. But we've only won 7 games all season. So the question is, how do we attack this thing to try to maximize, to extract as much profit out of it as we can? Well, a couple things I looked at. First of all, I don't suspect that Denver comes out here and handles business. They did have that buzzsaw. They did have that Cleveland spot. They got right with Detroit. Now they get a couple days rest, and they're taking to the road to play the Utah Jazz. It's get serious time now for this squad. And who's the guy that gets the most serious? Well, it's got to be Jokic. He's out there crushing. He's the guy. How about this? This is the number that jumped out to me the most. He's 0.5 assist away from averaging a triple-double on the season. I mean, it's ridiculous how talented this guy is. Now, part of the problem I have with him is he doesn't really give a shit, right? He was talking about that with the parade and wanting to go home to race his ponies and didn't really want to stay around for the parade, thought it was meaningless and useless to celebrate with the city that won this championship for the first time in umpteen. But we got a team in the Nuggets trying to get back into that ultra-competitive Western Conference. They're going to have to sit there pulling the reins of Nikola Jokic like he is a fucking reindeer carrying Santa's sleigh, pulling this team around. I'm going to take his triple-double as leg 2 of the parlay. I'm sorry, leg 1 of the parlay. Let me see. Let me give this to you guys. Let me stop screwing this up. Stop screwing it up. Okay. Jokic triple-double is plus 180. I added in Denver minus 2.5. I took this down to 2.5. I don't suspect Denver loses, as I just mentioned. I don't know that they go out there and care enough to beat the shit out of this team, but they should cover by over 2.5. They need this game. Their differential on the season is plus 2.1 points. So that 2.5 number just kind of felt like we're just taking that, like the average or the means of what this team can do out there on a regular basis. And then last but not least, I added in Uncle Russie Westbrook. Over 4.5 rebounds. That makes it 483. Plus 483. Why Russell Westbrook rebounds? We talk about some of these guys, and they love double-doubles against this team, or they love triple-doubles against that team, and we've capitalized on those when you hear me say this. Uncle Russ, 6 or more rebounds. 16 of his last 19 times he went on the road to play the Utah Jazz. 6 or more. 16 of 19 times when he's on the road against the Jazz, and they're coming in rested. So I added the over 4.5. That's the number. It's a little pricey at minus 154. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to take 6. Take the 6. Why the hell not? If you want to do that as a standalone to try to make some good cash on it. But I got the over 4.5 rebounds. I got the triple double, and I got Denver minus 2.5, and I got a plus 483 for that little same game parlay. Just a little 3-legger. Try to cook these fucking books. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? J-Main. That's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that when you look at their record, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's hard to believe because when you look at their record, it is so incredibly bad. It's hard to believe they got any kind of trend going anywhere. Look at you guys. Kelly V says Utah lost last 2 home to Denver, but prior 3 at home in the series. They beat Denver straight up. Just saying. I don't think they're winning straight up. I think they could probably cover the spread in a backdoor status, but I just took this down. Give me the favorite. See this favorite clock. I'm right in the face. All right, 2 more games to jump in on, and we'll get everybody up out of here. Got a good little pace today. Good pace on the program. Again, Denver minus 2.5. Russell Westbrook over 4.5 rebounds, and Jokic over getting a triple double. So you could get creative and cute with those on your own if you want. Maybe you take the 6+ for Russ and the rebounds. That should be a plus money price. Then you take the triple double on the standalone. Shop it around. You could probably catch it up to a plus 200. There's plenty of opportunities to make some big cash on this game. I just stopped putting all these together and trying to get 4.8 units off of a single. To me, made a lot of sense in the spot that I thought was a good opportunity to hammer, drive it home, and beat it up. So, last game on the card for me in the NBA. 1 spot in the NBA left, and it's going to go right back to the aforementioned pieces of shit, the 76ers. Trying to play themselves out of piece of shit status, but they got the Trailblazers, man. This line opened up at 6. It's gone to 6.5. You got 55% of the bets. You got 56% of the cash on the Sixers. It has moved to half a point. It's important. 223 has moved down to 221.5. And you got 88% of the bets and 86% of the cash on the over. And it's gone down. Not much, but it's gone down. Some slight movement in this one. Otherwise, the bookmakers feel probably pretty good about the way they got this thing overall. And it's questionable status. Thibel's going to be out. Grant, Williams, Banton, all questionable for the Trailblazers. We know Jared McCain's out. We know he's going to be out. Should be out for the rest of the season. Forking and busted his leg up. I'm telling you, that's what happened. You're going to hear 7 years from now, they're going to come out and be like, Jared McCain guy was making a TikTok video one day and tore his ACL. Then he went to practice and pretended he hurt it at practice. That's going to be what's happening. Mark my words. But on the other side of things, everyone's questionable. Embiid, Lowry, Drummond, and Gordon all in questionable status. And I don't think they're likely to take this Trailblazers team light. If you look at the last 2, this is, first of all, the 3rd game in a row that the Trailblazers will have at home since Christmas. They're all post-Christmas break days. Going into Christmas break, they played Dallas at Dallas. They lost 132-108. They exacted their revenge, 126-122. That's the big piece for me in this game. They got their revenge at home. Yeah, they busted up Utah, but 3.5-point favorites. They only won by 2. And we just talked about how bad Utah's doing. Flip side of things, the Sixers just played Utah, did not cover. This will be their 3rd game since Christmas, all of them on the road. They went outright, they handled the Celtics. They do beat Utah, but again, that was kind of the decompression. They were 9.5-point dogs against Boston. They win outright. They collectively exhale. Now they kind of rebound, try to pick things back up again, and they're playing none other than a lowly, disgusting Portland Trailblazers team that ranks 11 and 20 on the season. Struggling everywhere. Do they get home court advantage? Doesn't matter. Just a bad team overall. And those are the teams I like to pick on. Oh, yeah. When we look at spots like this, where did my number go? Shit. Let's see if I can find it. Damn. I deleted it. My fault. My fault. Bear with me. Just as I said, we're keeping a nice pace. Then I put this big old buzzer beater out there, and I lose my track. There we go. The intersecting zero spot. It was important. It was in relevance. It was important I find it. The Sixers, a whopping 16-0 in regular season revenge games against shit teams that average more than 13.5 turnovers a game. 16-0, a revenge spot, and they just got past a collective exhale and beating the Boston Celtics. The Portland Trailblazers, 0-8. After they scored 125 points versus a conference opponent. After scoring, they take a collective exhale against conference opponents because they get busted up by 21.5 points a game. Not only are we intersecting zero, I thought the scheduling spot made an absolute ton of sense. Maybe my favorite play on the card. Not just because it's Philly. Because I try not to take, unless it's the Eagles, I try not to take these Philly teams at all. It's hard to get the beat. It's hard to get the read. But I love the Sixer spot. Got 6.5. I got 6.5. I think it's a good spot. Main Philly says sub. Newcastle was cash. Sub knows which one was cash. Sub knows which one was cash. Shout out Rob McMahon. Sharps are on the over in that Florida game. Just saying. Mel's in the house. To lose, but Winnipeg switched plans to use Hellebuck tonight instead of saving him for the Avs tomorrow. Putting all their eggs in tonight's basket. Winnipeg money line. I'm on the under. Under. Look at this. Juggler 23 likes the plus 11.5 as well. Cool. All right, so we got the Sixers in there. T. Moss is who's doing a live for tonight, baby. It's right here. Sports Money. The crew will be here. We'll be collabing with our friend Razor Shark Picks. We'll be rocking and rolling. We'll be drinking and shot timing and having a lot of fun as we live bet as well. Looking forward to deploying my live betting strategy again. 2 back-to-back plus 450s. I think the one was even 475. So, anyways, look, I'm going to get more into this game because I do want to have a same game parlay. I like rooting for those. You know, big score. Hit a nice one the other day. But as we look at this game, here's the problem. You guys have heard it probably all day. Detroit doesn't really have anything to play for. Coach doesn't really care. He doesn't want to take the players out. I kind of get that. You don't necessarily want to just let him sit for 2 weeks rusting up. You got to go out there and put him in play. But I envision, let me start with this. Let me start with the, first of all, what do we know about Brock Purdy? He's awful. I've been telling you guys he's awful. Regardless of what he does in this game, he's awful. He's awful. When you put a good team in front of him, he loses. He completely buckles. Not only does he looks like a rookie quarterback. Like he looks like his decision making is all frazzled. Here's what he's going to do tonight. He's going to drop back. He's going to fake a handoff. It's probably going to be to the wrong side, and then he's going to spin around. And, maybe he'll try to do like a sidearm chuck to Kittle or something like that. But he's just not good. And if it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey, if it wasn't for Kittle, if it wasn't for Deebo Samuel, if it wasn't for all these studs they have, he's bad. But he's got such good talent around him that they overshadow how bad he is. But when you start looking at the numbers, you see that he is not good against positive teams. Teams that are over 500. What does that tell me? When you have a coaching opportunity and a team that's got their shit together, they're standing on the tracks and the train is coming through. And they only got Brock Purdy. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard And only Brock Purdy's there to hand off the rock. No cookies in that thing, just fucking lumps of coal. That being said, the line has opened up at 4.5. Favorites for the 49ers has moved all the way to 4-point dogs. Full swing through zero. 83% of the bets and 66% of the cash on the Lions. The total's gone up a 0.5 point. 61% of the bets, 61% of the cash are on the over. It's gone up 0.5 point. All in all, we know David Montgomery's out. Jamari Gibbs probably has himself the game of his life. Maybe. Here's the problem. It's not, we know we're gambling. We're not necessarily looking at the fantasy football side of sports. But Jamari Gibbs in championship games for fantasy, he struggles. His last 3 years, he's been non-existent in the championship game. Go look it up. I think I have it right here. So my point is, if you're going to go out there and you're just going to bang 2+ touchdowns because David Montgomery's out, I'd be cautious. I would look elsewhere. I would look to a guy like Laporta. I would look to Amon St. Brown. Why not? ASB. Not the obvious guy in. Now, can he go out there and score 4 touchdowns? Maybe. He hasn't done it at this point. And these players do know these are fantasy championship weeks. That's why they talk about Twitter. I don't care about your fantasy team. They know what they did. They know what they're facing. So that being said, we got an unmotivated team in the Detroit Lions because they really don't have anything to get. They have no gain from this game. The 49ers, on the other hand, 6-9. I don't know. Here's what I envision happens. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simplify it. We'll keep it real simple. I took the first half for the Detroit Lions. Why? They're the best first half team in the NBA. We talked about that like 6 weeks ago. I think they've covered every single first half for us since we talked about that. They're the best first half team in the NFL. I laid 2.5. Okay with it. Because I'm not scared about Brock Purdy because he is fucking worthless. Some of you guys want to, maybe it's the language I use to describe it that makes people want to fight with me on the other side of things, but I can care less if it's Brock Purdy or anybody else. I just look at the data. And he is not a winner. He's not. He's a loser in big game situations against big teams. That being said, how does San Francisco have a path to victory in this game? Well, Detroit goes up early. They give their players, the biggest thing that these coaches want to do when it comes to these managing the process between the bye weeks is keep the players in the same routine. So when they're sitting on their asses after they tape their ankles and they're getting ready for the coach's speech and the national anthem to go take the field, that process, they want that routine to be the same. They'll probably give them the first quarter, even the first half. Let them go out there, practice the game plan that they worked all week in practice, put it out there on the field. Once they've executed against it, they go up by a score or two. There's no more need to go put those players out there in the second half. They've accomplished their job. They practiced. They executed their perfection their practice schedule. They got the practice routine, the same pre-game routine all in place. So you start bringing in backups. And if you're a mash unit like that Detroit's becoming in this mash unit situation, those backups are going to be bad. Those are third stringers, even some fourth stringers. I love the under in this game. You guys talked about it with Hockey Leagues as the ref, but I think that's very much the game plan and the way things go down. What am I getting at? I would take a Detroit first half, San Francisco full game option. Why not? See what that's going to pay. I'm going to evaluate a bunch of those things. My official play here is the first half -2.5. I'll find you guys some touchdown player props. We're going to hit some same game parlay stuff as well. But for the official play of the pre-gaming show tonight, we're going to take that first half. We're going to lay the 2.5. We're going to expect them to get busted up in the second half because they pulled all their starters out there and San Francisco comes back and probably wins the game outright. You heard it here first. That's the way we're going to do it. Cameron says nothing to play for the line. I don't think they give a shit about the revenge. I don't think so. I mean, we talk about the revenge angle in the NBA. We talk about the revenge angle in the NHL. There's some proven stats and track records behind that, but I think they care more about winning the NFL World Championship than they care about going out there and beating up on the San Francisco 49ers team. The whole reason they are in a revenge situation is because they didn't respect them the first time. But we'll see. NFC Championship. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's like fighting the schoolyard bully after he kicked your ass in dodgeball. He goes out, he breaks his arm over the weekend, and you see him in the playground the next day. It's still a revenge spot. You still might be pissed, but it's not the same dude. He's got his arm in a fucking sling. That's essentially what we're seeing here with the San Francisco team. With the exception of Purdy, everybody else got the hell out of it. Now, the weird part for me is the lack of usage behind Kittle. I'm going to get him involved today. He's going to be involved in my touchdown scoring stuff. We'll see exactly how it transpires. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. Look at this. Look at Gibbs. You want to hear about the Gibbs factor? I just told you guys, for such a lock, well, he's coming down a little bit, I guess. There's a plus 260 out there for FanDuel to give you a Jamari Gibbs touchdown. Is that true? Let me look. I might recant everything I just said if that's true. I want some money. I want some plus 2.5 to 1 money. But we know what happens when FanDuel's got the best number, right? No, it's not. No. Minus 320. If you lay minus 320 on a touchdown score, you're an asshole. I said it. Don't do that. That's not profitable. Short term, long term, I don't care what you call it. You're not playing the numbers right. You're looking at the numbers wrong. You're losing money when you're winning money, is what that says. You find somebody else deeper down the line. Now, unfortunately, sometimes we get to those spots, and what happens? Nobody scores a touchdown. And then it doesn't matter who you picked. But I'd rather sit there with a guy at plus 1,400 than a guy at minus 300 every day of the week, as long as it made sense from a matchup perspective. So that's going to be the way that we do it. Putting the boat on the show. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. Going to have just enough time to get a little bit more of this H2O in me. Going to place these bets. Then we're going to circle back. We're going to jump on this live stream. Have a good time tonight, you guys. Monday night football. Last Monday nighter of the year till the playoffs. But should be a ton of fun tonight. So we'll see you guys real soon. Thanks for checking us out tonight. Thanks for watching. Shout out to my friend Made in Philly, gifting a sports money membership, helping us build this community one member at a time. As did Redbeard, gifting a sports money membership. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you rocking with us here tonight. We will see you guys in just a little bit. Until then, get those bets in, get those cocktails made, keep the ice tray full.